All right, folks, before we head back to court, let's bring in our guest for this hour. Joining us, former prosecutor, criminal and civil defense attorney Randolph Rice is with us. Randolph, great to see you again, as always, for joining us on the program. Want to get your sense of what this witness is providing for the prosecution.
Well, he's putting together the link between Mr. Baker and the defendant that day. If you notice, the pictures that were taken outside of LA Fitness match the date of the murder. A few hours earlier, around 12:30 that day. So placing them together, I think, just chips away at her, misleading the police officers and the detectives that she didn't know Mr. Baker's last name. And obviously, they're hanging out together at LA Fitness the day of the crime.
Now, she doesn't know at that point during the day, and it hadn't even happened yet, the fact that the husband ends up dead. So what really does it prove? Again, there's some issue in my mind, and I was speaking with Judge Ashley about this last hour, about the relevancy of going into all of this, the fact that she was flirting with that guy. I think it is relevant because of her state of mind, but do you think that that's what all this is about?
Yeah, Michael, I agree with you and the judge. I think this is a little offline. I'm not really sure the point. Maybe the state's going to try to bring this back together. I do think there's some value, though, as I mentioned earlier, is to putting them together the day of the crime. Maybe the state has some additional evidence at some point in time that they're going to say that they met. Maybe they talked about, how he was going to do it and how he was going to get away with it and what it really meant. And maybe this is the last meeting of, are we really going to do this or not?
Yeah, and the prosecutor said in opening statements, the timeline very important. I wonder if it has something to do with the timeline, as the fact that they're seen together at that time. Maybe she says that she was doing something else, so that would be hurtful as well. All right, Randolph, stand by. I want to take folks back into court now. On the stand still is Matt Nurse. He's the defendant's former personal trainer. And he's bring back in our guest still with us, former prosecutor, criminal and civil defense attorney Randolph Rice. And Randolph, in light of what we know the defense is going to argue based on their opening statements, this idea that she really wasn't ever planning to leave Fabio. She was blindsided by the fact that Robert Baker decided to kill him when she told him that she wasn't going to ever leave Fabio. He wanted to be with her, and that's not what she wanted. That's all I can think of as to why this particular witness was allowed in and his testimony is relevant. Because as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking, wow, this woman seemed to be on the prowl. That kind of flies in the face of the state of mind that she was in love and wasn't thinking about leaving her husband.
Michael, I think you're exactly right. I'm not really sure what the purpose of this witness is, but then again, that's sometimes the case in the state's layout of their argument, is that they're calling certain witnesses to sort of lay that groundwork, that foundation. Why are they asking about this Mustang that she's showing him? Why are they asking about, the different visits at the house? The defense is certainly trying to establish that they had a good relationship, that he was trying to get, she was trying to get her husband to work out and wanted him obviously around for a long time and healthy. So I'm not sure right now. I think we're going to find out more as the case goes on as to why he was called.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're sort of laying these little breadcrumbs that'll be picked up later on in their case. This is only one chip or one block in their case as they build their case. But I want to ask you about what they need to do here, right? They have a conspiracy charge. They also have the murder, first-degree murder charge. But I want to talk about the conspiracy. You have to come up with evidence of an agreement. And I think that's where the argument goes with the defense that they're making. Look, she was blindsided by this guy. There was never an agreement. They were having an affair. Yes, we agree. She's not the nicest person. She's cheating on her husband. But there was never an agreement at any time that there was going to be this murder. And I think that's going to be, to me, the difficult part as far as the conspiracy is concerned for the state.
Yeah, that's always one of the hardest parts of a conspiracy, is proving that. Look, you never have a situation where two parties are sitting down in a room and you've got a video of them saying, hey, listen, let's agree that I'm going to kill your husband and you're going to do so-and-so and I'm going to do it for you. You never, I shouldn't say never, you rarely have that, right? But in this situation, they've got to put all that circumstantial evidence in that's going to show that these two were working together for a common cause, which was ultimately the murder of Fabio. So it's all the little things that they're going to have to put on the record. The state's going to have to put as an evidence to establish that conspiracy.
And I think, to that point, that's why we were hearing about the two of them together earlier in the day before the murder, right? Because again, that plays into this idea that they were together, maybe conspiring or agreeing on something nefarious like a murder.
Yeah, and maybe they have a witness coming in next. It's going to say, the trainer says, hey, look, they're at the gym. And maybe there's a witness who's going to say, yeah, I saw him at the gym. And in fact, I heard them talking about X, Y, and Z. So maybe that's the groundwork they're laying. Again, we don't know the entire state's case. We have to wait and see, but the state knows what they're doing. They're putting these people on the stand for a reason, and there's going to be obviously something that's going to come out that's going to strengthen their theory of this conspiracy.
Yeah, no doubt a lot of that's going to include, again, the lies that she told after the murder about where she was, what she was doing, et cetera, and then the extensive text and communications between the two of them. So all that yet to come in the trial. All right, Randolph Rice, thank you so much for being with us today. Truly appreciate it as always. But folks, I want you to stick around.